Happy Wednesday to everyone. Boy, I'm looking at the amount of people on here, Erin. We've got ourselves a big crowd today. Really fired up about this.
Excited.
Woo! Hello and happy Wednesday to everyone. Hope you're all happy, healthy, and safe wherever you are plugging into this webinar from. I'm Nita Shrikant, the COO of Influencer, and with me today is Erin from the Tampa Bay Rays, who's going to be running us through a TikTok 101 session. Here's hoping that everyone on the webinar right now received the email earlier and you have downloaded the TikTok app if you have not already put that on your phones before this. Erin, this morning I woke up and the first thing I did was I opened up the app and
same.
Then I just looked up and it was 45 minutes later. And the thing I love about TikTok,
only 45 minutes. That's shocking. Usually it's like a few hours. So you're doing pretty good.
My dog came and bugged me. I was like, what the heck? Like, let me out, let me go out. So, yeah, I'm really excited about some of the things that have been going on the platform recently, and excited to see what you have prepped. For those of you who are attending for the first time, hello and welcome. We have a bunch of other sessions coming up in the next few weeks. Tomorrow we have one with Alex Rubens, the Senior Vice President of Kroenke Sports, which basically runs the Rams. Should be really good for those of you who don't know what esports is. Really fired up. Talked to Alex yesterday about it, and should be very informative, and it'll help you during this time to figure out how you can apply esports to the sports world. Should be very good. For those of you that are joining us for the first time as well, please post your Twitter account, LinkedIn, and even if you're joining us for the second or whatever time, please join it in there. Drop it in the chat. Nikki from our influencer marketing team is going to round them all up, put them in a Google Sheet. We really want you all to connect with each other. The amount of people that we've received feedback from about being able to meet new people and even just make basic connections has been just absolutely remarkable. So please drop it in there. Connect with as many people. I know I'm going to be sending out as many notes as I possibly can as well, because I'm really fired up about the feedback we've been getting and getting to meet each and every one of you individually after this. Also, ask questions. There's going to be a lot of new material that Erin's going to be running through. So please ask as many questions as you can. I will play moderator with Erin and try to have as much of a conversation going with you as possible. So please engage with us, ask questions, even, make jokes at my own expense, whatever. Please, please, please participate. And with that, Erin, you ready for this?
I'm ready as I will ever be.
Show's yours. Go get it.
One thing else I want to add, I put it in the chat, but share your favorite TikTok links with everybody, guys. This is going to be a super fun session. Share your favorites. And then also, I know that there's tons of people in here who are great at TikTok. I mean, we got some people from the Bucks who I respect, some people from the Warriors. So if you guys have any advice, just keep sharing. This is just a lovely chat room full of really amazing minds. And although obviously I'm excited to share what I know that there's tons of knowledge in the chat too. So don't be afraid to help each other out as well. But with that, I'm going to get started because obviously we have tons of material to get through. So just to start off, I'm going to give a little intro of myself. I'm going to keep this, although there's a lot of points on here, I'm going to try and break it down just really simply. So I am 24 years old. I currently am with the Tampa Bay Rays in the digital marketing department. We do everything from email to social media to website edits. Basically anything digital marketing runs through us, as well as we partner with obviously the MLB and their club marketing department to do anything that relates to digital marketing. Obviously the exciting part for me personally is all the social media that we do, and that's across all platforms, Twitter, Facebook, now TikTok, as well as we are now on Spotify as well, and I'm counting that under digital marketing. But we kind of do just anything that encompasses. We do have a Snapchat, but we're kind of breaking away from that. And actually, it was the reason why we're developing our TikTok. Before I was with the Rays, I was actually not in the sports industry. I took a nice little hiatus, and I worked with bodybuilding.com, which is the world's largest online fitness retailer, and I ran their social media. And that was my first job out of college. I graduated from NYU, and I have a sports marketing degree. I have a plethora of internships that I did during that time. I definitely took advantage of everything that I possibly could. I worked with Vayner Sports / Vayner Media, which you guys might know of as the agency run by Gary Vaynerchuk, the social media guru. I promise he is actually super, super nice, and was an opportunity of a lifetime to work under him and his team. Other things I did within sports was doing stuff with the Colorado Avalanche, the United States Olympic Committee, the NWHL, Creighton University Athletics, as well as different things with the New York Jets and the WNBA during my time. So I kind of did it all during college, and then I settled on obviously social media and ultimately coming to the Rays, which I started in January. So definitely still new here, but it's really exciting. And although the hiatus due to the virus wasn't exactly how I imagined coming into pro sports full-time for the first time, it's definitely actually been a lot of fun, and just being able to create new content and trying to obviously overcome all this is a huge opportunity in my eyes. So
that's awesome, Erin. It's a really interesting background.
Definitely a wide variety, that's for sure. So obviously, if you guys have questions and ever want to hit me up on different things, tips, advice, whatever, you have connections to younger people in the industry, open to answering that as well. But I want to get into the meat of it, which is all about TikTok. So the hardest thing for a lot of people is trying to explain what TikTok is. So I created a lovely one sentence. What is TikTok? And to me, it is an entertainment social platform for 60-second or less videos, focusing on sound and engaging video content. Why I put social in the quotation marks is it's not necessarily what we view as a social media where it's all about conversation, right? Although there is an aspect of that, I'm going to get to it. It's focused on entertainment. TikTok's ultimate goal is to keep you in the app as long as possible. As you know, it works. You get into that black hole of just scrolling videos. Everything is vertically, it's nice, it's easy to use. The algorithm so kindly puts the For You page with all the content that you absolutely love. It learns what you love, and it's going to keep you there. So I look at it as pure entertainment, and that is how I like to view what you need your content to be. It's not necessarily about creating conversation. It's about how can you entertain your fans, your followers, people who don't follow you, because obviously it's getting pushed out to even people who don't follow you, which is another advantage of TikTok. So how can you be the most entertaining in a very short amount of time? Obviously, a lot of us are used to 60-second because of like Instagram videos, for example, but you don't get the swipe through. You don't get that. You get 60 seconds and you have to make a point. Most importantly to that is, although you get those 60 seconds, some of the best videos are actually in that 10 to 20 second time frame. So you really don't have a lot of time, but you can create a lot of entertaining content in a short amount of time when you do it. In this image is kind of your four big, I guess, views of the TikTok platform. The first being your For You page. This is where you're going to view all of the videos. You can also tab over to the following page, which is only going to give you videos of the people that you follow. I personally don't really look at that column all that often because I love finding tons of new content. So I typically stick to that For You page when I want to find new things. You have your Discover page, which is going to give you your top hashtags, sounds, any sort of events that are going on that TikTok likes to have. In this example, it was highlighting the Happy at Home live that was happening, as well as all those lovely hashtags that you will want to use or potentially take advantage of all the trends that are occurring with that Discover page. Next, you have your notifications or activity page, which is going to obviously tell you all about the things that are going on with your content, all your likes, comments, shares, follows, etc. Definitely make sure you're paying attention to this page. This is where your social gets into actual social media, because obviously you can respond to comments and you can kind of see how your content's doing. And then you have your creation page. This is all about where you're going to get the video. Hope you enjoy my lovely peace sign. Wanted to keep it simple for the photo. But obviously this is where you're going to create your videos, and I'll dive more into that page coming up. Do you have any questions right now? I can't see anybody's chat.
We got a couple of questions coming in, but I think we can just keep plugging along for right now before we get into some of these.
Cool. So we're going to, we'll go through these links, but so kind of moving on from that past one was, this is viewed as the fun platform to a lot of people. You aren't supposed to be as buttoned up as I like to look at it. It's where you can kind of change up your brand. Obviously you have your brand voice that you like to have, but maybe this is where you can kind of adjust it a little bit, be a little bit more fun, get more aspects of what your players are, not just on the field, but off the field, but also take advantage of a lot of music, which again, I'll go into later, that you don't necessarily get to take advantage of on other platforms. These links, I wanna say that obviously the stereotypical view of what TikTok is all about the dances. And while those are so important because of the trends in music, it's not just that. There is a lot of content that happens and amount of work that goes into creating a lot of TikToks. So what I'm going to do is actually screen share a link for you guys. Let's see if I can do it. Yep. So this is a lovely fun one that I'm actually probably going to take advantage of soon. And this is just an influencer, but obviously you can see like she has a drill with her phone attached to it. A lot of us who love putting together incredible content, we're used to having a video team full of just awesome cameras and equipment and things to make the effects and lighting and lighting and all of that. When it comes to TikTok, you can keep it a lot simpler, but these influencers, they don't have huge sets, but they get really creative. I saved this one myself because I would love to do like a throw the ball and you can kind of see like a curveball situation. You're gonna see why. But they attach a drill to a phone and then she'll make it spin. Which, I'm not gonna lie, like to me, that's really creative. And the content on the back end looks really cool. Obviously has a great effect. So I guess like the main thing with that one is again, it's a lot of fun, but also the amount of creativity that you can really put into your content to make really cool effects is pretty much, there's no limit to it. Definitely take advantage of, obviously there's tons of tutorials for different content, but get creative in how you use your phone. It doesn't require fancy cameras to make the best content possible. Go back to the presentation. So the big question that I get a lot of is kind of like, why is TikTok so popular all of a sudden? One, I wouldn't really say it's all of a sudden. This has been going on for probably, I'm giving it like a minimum of 2 years to be quite honest. It really gained popularity when it was actually called Musical.ly. And it had a very similar structure. Everything was actually only 15-second videos at that time, but it was all about music. And it was meant for teens to be able to lip sync to songs and be able to share it with their friends. From there, obviously, like any platform does, they developed new effects. They added just more things that you could do on the platform. They understood the power of influencers, things like that. It grew. A company ended up buying it out and then ultimately changed the name to TikTok. And from there, it just continued to gain popularity. And the reason behind that is obviously a new generation of kids, the ease of it. And what I'm going to say is the ease of entry. It doesn't take a lot. You can come in. You only need a phone in order to use it. It doesn't require, again, that camera crazy things. You can just kind of be yourself. It doesn't require you to vlog. It doesn't necessarily require you to be the funniest person. A lot of people just love putting out content about themselves. Things of that nature. On this thing, again, like the phone content is king. And then finally is that the algorithm highlights everybody. Anybody can be a star. And I think that's really why a lot of, especially like younger kids love coming onto it, is because they feel like they're going to be able to become famous, ultimately because of this platform. Your content gets pushed to everybody, not just your followers. You might get people, celebrities, things like that, get to see your content. And that's not necessarily the case across all the other platforms. The other reason I think is that ultimately for brands and anybody, again, it's so easy to get stuck on the platform. There's just so much content to consume that you just want to keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. It's entertaining, it's fun, and it gets you away from kind of what's going on in the rest of the world. And as you can kind of imagine, especially right now, though, like the negativity, it's nice to kind of have like a get away from all of that, and TikTok kind of allows that. The average is usually between 48 to 60 minutes per day on the app. This was as of, I believe, January-ish when I pulled that data. I would probably guess it's a lot more now. By my screen time minutes per day on the app is way over that. So I can imagine for a lot of you that might be the case as well.
I hit my quota this morning.
It only takes once. It only takes once. And everybody just kind of downloads it as a joke until they really see that it has like a lot of entertaining factors to it.
I found this entire quarantine that all the people that were so pessimistic and making fun of people on TikTok have now downloaded it. When you see their stories on Instagram, and they're basically ripping what they did off of TikTok and putting it up on their Instagram stories.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The quarantine definitely for sure, which is one of my points here. Let's see if I can pull up this one for you guys. One of the leagues that I personally think, so I'm going to give them a shout out. If anybody from the NHL or NHL teams is on here, I think that they have been doing a great job about utilizing TikTok and utilizing obviously the quarantine content that they're getting. This particular one was from Matt Love, and obviously it's kind of fun, a joke. He's staying at home. So obviously, like to a lot of us, you might be looking at that and you're going to be like, why? Like, why is that a thing? Who creates that? What's so funny about that? But if you even got a little bit of a laugh, it did its job, right? And that thing probably dives you in. Now you're curious. You're like, okay, well, what other content is kind of like that? And you're just going to keep scrolling. You might click one of those hashtags that's on there, like happy at home. All of a sudden, you're getting so much more content related to those things. And again, that's what the app is meant to do. It's so easy to use. And that ridiculous content is what we love. So even if you're looking at this like, why? Like, how do I go and create that? You do it because all of a sudden now you have this just a wide array of content you can create that feels a little bit more off than you can put on to, say, Facebook or Twitter. So that was that example. Go back. And then to your point as well, the algorithm in and of itself also just makes it popular, as well as the sharing aspect. The fact that it's the only app that you can click share, you can save a video easily, as well as share to every other social media platform, I think has really helped TikTok. You see a lot more TikToks on Twitter as well as Facebook, and you just see the videos going viral more so on other platforms than TikTok itself. I've seen a few videos that actually are more popular on Twitter than the original one was on TikTok, which makes no sense. Obviously, maybe you have more followers on Twitter than you might on TikTok in itself, but also, again, you can cross share and it's so easy to share. And that's ultimately what also boosts your video in the TikTok algorithm to be shown to more people, is how many shares does it get, which we will get to soon.
One interesting note too about TikTok right now is they're the biggest advertiser on Snapchat. They're spending more money than any other brand on Snapchat.
Which I always find, okay, I really need to figure out how to do this so it doesn't start over every time, but that's okay. I don't necessarily find that to be odd. You might, obviously, Snapchat has a very similar like age group as TikTok, so they obviously want you to come over to their platform due to the similarities and things like that. But TikTok just wants you to know who they are. By now, most people do know what it is for the most part, at least in the age group that they care about. But they're still going to advertise just like anybody, whether you know it or not. They also want to showcase their own influencers. They want to showcase brands that they work with, things like that, and make you want to come back to the app. Even if, say, you have Snapchat open, if you see that ad, all of a sudden you're going to be like, oh, yeah, I want to check TikTok again. So then you go and you get off Snapchat. So it did its job, even though you already have it downloaded and TikTok already has you, they're still going to advertise to you.
I'm curious in the chat, how many people are still using Snapchat or not using Snapchat?
Oh, gosh.
chime in the comments.
We should make that a poll. So personally for us at the Ray, we are pulling back that content. That's just to be able to make way for more for more TikTok content. We have a small team. Those are the decisions that we have to make. But ultimately, we were seeing a lot more value in TikTok in the new than necessarily the old, as well as just the opportunity for new types of content. We still have, like, obviously the filters and things like that, especially at the stadium. But just in terms of new content, we've decided to just back off of that.
Ooh. Chat has spoken.
Oh gosh, what is it? I can't see it because I got my.
Not using is overwhelming.
I mean, I still use it because I like the snap streak, so I have like 2 people that I really snap a lot. But other than that, I'm definitely off. This is just so much more entertaining in my mind.
What's crazy though about Snapchat, side note, is that the Discover platform is still a very good business for those that are programming it. But anyways, keep going with your presentation.
So another reason that it's so popular is obviously by who's on it. A lot of people who are in that younger age group have like the most amount of free time, so they want entertainment, as well as the popularity in terms of if you're a brand, who are you looking at? Who are you trying to advertise to? Who are you trying to become a new fan, a new follower, a future ticket buyer, whatever you want to say, and that's that Gen Z and younger age group. Right now, there's 350 million global users. Again, this was pulled in February, so this might be a little bit different now. And 31 million of those are in the US. It's around a 60% female, 40% split, which is a huge, huge opportunity, especially in sports, because a lot of us look at it as like very male dominated. So how do you market to the female gender? Obviously, TikTok is a huge opportunity for that. The breakdown in terms of age groups is it's 34% age 13 to 17, 29% 18 to 24, which is actually up from last year. Again, a lot of us looked at that stereotype of, oh, it's just the 15-year-old kids who are dancing, right? Well, it actually started to shift as more of the older teens and young adults started to get on it. And then now there's 12% at the 25 to 34 age range, which is your adults. They might have like 1 kid, they might be married, things like that is also starting to grow too. So obviously that's just a huge opportunity in terms of the different age groups and different people that you could reach that would be not exactly what Instagram and what Twitter can get you. Obviously you have a new opportunity, which any of us in social media marketing, we want. We want more different types of people. We want to be able to market to everybody, and this platform allows that. So the big thing that I asked was kind of like what people might want to like hear during this. And the big thing was the algorithm. Why is it so ridiculous? Why does it know exactly what I want? Why do things go viral so quickly? And it all comes back to this lovely algorithm. I'm going to start with the interest target system. And this is what content you see. The more videos of certain types of content that you start to like or that you watch all the way through, TikTok starts to learn that, and it's going to start showing up on your For You page. This differs from when you first download the app to obviously later on. When you first download it, TikTok's just going to kind of throw everything at you. So you're going to get a lot of variety of content, and some of it you're going to hate, which is why it takes a little bit for people to fall in love with the app, because all of a sudden they're getting kind of the bad content that they don't care about, and they're just going to like get off the app. But as it learns, as you start to like content, as you start to spend more time on it, it's going to learn, and it learns pretty fast. And that's why it's called the interest target system. So the more that you like and the more that you engage with, the more that will show up on your page. Obviously, when it comes to content creation, you need to keep that in mind. What are the things that people are liking? What are those hashtags that people are looking at in terms of my market? And then how can I create the content so that it'll show up on their page? The next is what TikTok likes to call the threshold system. And this is for when you're sharing content, how your content is shared. And this is the thing that a lot of people don't really understand. And it's the difference between why videos get like millions of views and goes viral, and then all of a sudden why TikTok will literally just push your content to a halt. This doesn't happen on any other platform. Your video just doesn't stop getting shared on Instagram. Like, it's still going to show up on people's feeds, right? your tweet is still going to go out to all of your followers. And it's probably also going to get shown because people are going to start liking it. It'll get shown to other people. That's not necessarily the case with TikTok. It's going to go out to your followers, obviously, as well as like a select amount. There's no set number that TikTok offers you in terms of like, well, you need to get 100 likes in order for this to go to the next one. It's not necessarily how it works. But it gets pushed out to X amount of people, and you need to reach that threshold that they set in order for it to like continue down the line. It's why that you'll see probably when you first post your like 100 to 200 views come really fast. A view is like as long as it shows up on the page and they get to it, that's why it's going to count it as a view. They don't have to watch it all the way through. Once you reach that threshold of views, likes, comments, and shares that they're going to set for you, it'll like push it on to like the next one. All of a sudden now you get like a chain reaction. So obviously now it's pushing to 500 people. Then you're going to get those 500 views really fast. If you get another set amount of likes, it's going to like just keep going. Then it just keeps pushing it. So it's kind of like an exponential growth. And it's why you can go from 1 to 4,000 views so quickly. As an example, this was one that we did. We've actually only been on TikTok for ourselves as the Rays for 2 weeks. So right now we're at about 22,000 followers, I believe, as of this morning, which in 2 weeks isn't that bad, especially because we've only shared about 10 pieces of content. So it's a pretty good average. And I believe you shared this video this morning. Okay, so this is one that we did. Just as kind of like a setup, you can see, obviously you have your caption. You want to keep it pretty short and sweet and simple, as well as your hashtags, music, whatever. We kept this one pretty short to the song, and it was called You Would Not Believe Your Eyes. It's by Owl City, and the edit. You would not believe your eyes. Obviously. You would not believe your eyes. You would not believe your eyes. Just keeps repeating. And the important thing and why I chose that song is obviously it fit well with the type of content. It was a really filthy pitch for this example. And it was also something that a lot of people didn't believe their eyes when we first posted that video when the pitch happened. So it fit nicely. We edited the song the edit that was actually made within TikTok. We just edited the video clip to fit it nicely and perfectly so that each beat went with the song and each transition went with the song. And it pretty much blew up. This was obviously pretty much our first really big one. Right now it's sitting at around 7 million views. But when we first posted this, we only had about 10,000 followers, I think, when we posted this. So for an account that only has 10,000 followers to be able to get 7 million views, that's just obviously a huge opportunity and something that you don't typically see on other platforms. It requires you to have so many followers in order to get that amount of views. But in TikTok, that's not the case. We continuously kept meeting that threshold. People kept commenting, people kept liking it, and it just obviously kept growing and growing. And we're still getting views on this video. The shelf life, once you can reach a huge amount of views, is pretty much ongoing. So I think within 24 hours, we're up to 2 million views, and now we're at around 7 million views. And it's been about a week and a half, 2 weeks. So once you get up to that lovely large amount of views, your content can obviously last a lot longer. And that's huge, huge for growth when you're trying to build try to build up on a new platform. Obviously, you want people to, when they come to your profile, be able to find videos, but also you want your content to last a really long time because you still need that time to continuously develop. So I'm going to go back. Do we have any questions yet? I feel like I'm just jabbering away.
Yeah, we got a couple questions here. I'm going to start chiming in with them. So this one's from Stephen Leonard, Director of Social Video at Virginia. TikTok is dominated by teens dancing and making dark humor jokes. Looking at the Raise account, there are 2 big hits. Why do you think these 2 videos perform so well and your other posts only have a couple thousand views? Is it luck? And giving a shout out to Virginia Sports on TikTok.
What's up, Steven? Yo, appreciate the question. Yeah, so for these ones, I mean, a lot of when we were going into creating them was, what do we think is going to perform well? what meets our audience's need, which is obviously baseball content. We're creating it in a time of hiatus, which really is kind of actually unfortunate for us because now we have to continuously go back. But for these two pieces of content, why I think they did really well, obviously, it was entertaining. It went really well to the song. It was something worth commenting on. And 3, it was something worth sharing with other people. One thing that I've really learned, as well as other people, is the importance of that sharing factor. Just like any other platform, you need that video to be shared. Some of our other pieces aren't necessarily something you would share with a friend. It might be something that you engage with, that you're going to like, and you yourself will, but are you going to share it? So we're definitely still testing out different pieces. So we're still in that nice beginning phase of trying to find what those pieces of content are. And obviously we took note that highlights of great pitches do well. But to these points, and the 2 that I think did well, obviously were both highlights of plays. They were 2 of our top players, and they just obviously were shareable pieces of content. That doesn't go away no matter what platform you're on. Sharing is key.
Got another question for you. Let's put this up here. I don't know why this is not working, but who do you think should control TikToks? For example, the women's soccer team at Richmond has one, and the student athletes post their own content on it. What advantages are there to starting ones for college teams? This is from Justin Glover, University of Richmond.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, I think that there's a huge advantage to having your players be able to run it directly. At the pro level, we don't get that, whether it be from the interest of our players being on it, but also we just typically don't allow access to our players. We would love for them to like create their own. We actually had Blake Snell get onto TikTok during quarantine, so we didn't ask him to do that. It was something he did on his own. So that was obviously a huge. I don't know why it's doing that. A huge opportunity for us having a player on there, but it's not something that we would look to say, hey, we want our players running it. From a college standpoint, I can definitely see it. Obviously, a little bit younger, they might understand the platform a little bit more. I think that there's value in obviously them having their own account too, and you just sharing their content on your page. Not only are you boosting the content that they're pushing out on their own platforms, but you can obviously share your own content too that you're creating, and you're not just relying on the players themselves to do all the content. It's kind of a nice leeway of having both. But I think it is cool that you have the ability to do that. So I'm not necessarily going to like degrade that option either.
Got another question from Ashley Wise from Miami University. We recently started a TikTok. What advice do you have for teams getting started to build their account and following?
Yeah, so I think like the biggest key that, and I think I'm going to land on this later, but I'll definitely bring it up now, is consistency. You can't just start, post one, and just kind of hope for the best. I think it takes a lot of consistent content like any platform does. It takes a lot of watching. So you yourself having to sit there and just watch a lot of content, see what's performing, understanding the trends, understanding the songs. Good or bad as it sounds, you need to start like thinking in TikTok brain, as I like to call it. You should be able to kind of see a piece of content that you have or that you've done, maybe being able to like repurpose a piece of content and say, here's how I could make that work for my team. You could see a trend, or not even a trend, just a video from another small account because it shows up on your For You page, and you see it and you're like, how could I do that for my page? Or like recreate it in your own mind. But the big thing is consistency. If we had the ultimate goal, like our ultimate goal is being able to post at least once a day. There's a lot of data and analytics behind you want to post at least 1 to 3 times in a day. Influencers who we're going to get to later, you'll see them post anywhere between 3 to 6 times in a day. That's a lot of content. It's a lot of videos, and most of them keep them pretty simple where it doesn't take a lot of time. But for us, we obviously have different goals in mind, different types of content that we're putting out. So trying to get 3 pieces of content out on TikTok is a lot harder of an ask. But consistency with your content, and obviously being able to always be coming up with new content for this platform. Last thing I would say is having resources. It's not easy, especially with a new platform, but having somebody potentially dedicated to this platform, apparently for a lot of teams has been really beneficial, whether it be an intern or a coordinator, things like that, just always being on the platform.
Next question's from Kaylee. Have you run into issues getting in with buy-in, basically, from the front office staff and players in making TikTok videos?
Oh, yes. Particularly players, that's definitely a hard ask. Within MLB, it's very, very difficult just because some of the players aren't necessarily on social media really to begin with. They're, or at least on our team, they're not on there all that much. They like to keep their life pretty private, especially during, say, this time, even though they're bored, they just still like that private life. They don't really put themselves out there that much. For us, actually, it was a huge advantage to actually have this quarantine because we, even the top of the front of our front office came to us and said, hey, we need to be on new platforms. We want to integrate new technology during this time period. How can we do that? And they even specifically mentioned TikTok, even when we were about to actually present the idea of that to be able to create the platform. So we lovingly got to bypass that, and we immediately got to get started with the amount of content that we had backloaded to be able to create an account, which is great. In terms of buying from up above, obviously that's just going to take time. Don't expect it to come right away. Just like you having to learn it, you need to make that ask kind of them too, is understanding the platform, being able to showcase its value. I would say if you can, say, hey, we at least want to like make the account. We want to get like our name situated. We want to try and get verified at a minimum, especially if you're in like a pro sport team. And then say, hey, we want to just test it out for X amount of time. And we want to be able to show you the value that this platform brings of that new generation of fans. And then obviously bring your best, show value, bring a lot of data to them and say, here's where we're going. Here's our new amount of followers. Here's what we're accomplishing. And when you can bring that to your team, I think it makes that ask of why you need to be on there easier. So just as like a general rule, I wanted to leave you guys with some of my like best tips that I've found or that I've even worked with other people on, whether it be other teams or just other people on the platform, what we've seen. Try to keep your videos under 20 seconds. Unless there's some really, really good storyline that's going to keep people to the end. Obviously, there's going to be those 60-second ones that do really well. There's nothing against them. They just have to have a storyline that allows you to finish. Again, one of the criteria that I like to call it in that threshold system is watch time and finishing your video. So if that means you have to keep your videos a little bit shorter in order to get people to finish the whole thing before liking or before even swiping away, the better off you are. A lovely trick that you'll see a lot of people use, and I'm calling it a trick, is called seamless looping. And that's where you don't necessarily realize that the video is ending or that it restarted. And again, because TikTok acts as a looping video, essentially, it's pretty easy to do that. And that obviously ups your views, helps you in the algorithm. Using call to action captions, whether that be to obviously like, to comment, to share, something that maybe they double tap on the video, which a double tap obviously makes the like happen, is going to help. Again, this feels like tricky, but it's really not. It just obviously is going to help you in the long run. Hashtags are very important. This is how people find trends. Obviously, when it comes to advertising, which we'll get to later, hashtags are huge. It's also how people like find your content. Just like on Twitter, hashtags are huge. Being able to find content that you love and relate to, put those in your captions. I find that anywhere from 1 to 5 works. And there's going to be something that you'll probably see known as hashtag FYP or hashtag for you page. People used to think that using this hashtag got you on the for you page, and that's not how it works. It's just a hashtag that a lot of people go in and search for content. So you'll see a lot of videos have that. We definitely throw it in there every once in a while because obviously, again, it's a hashtag that people search. You want to be there. So it's definitely not a bad ad, but it doesn't get you on the For You page. It's not a thing. And then using trending songs. Obviously, those videos are going to start to get popular. It's why challenges occur. The more people, when people search a sound and they come up with the one that they like, as like an example right now, you'll see the 2C Side by Drake as an example. People will click that sound. They're going to scroll through all the videos and see examples of what other people do. That's how people will find you. And obviously, anytime you're doing something trendy, it helps and works in your favor, usually.
What do you use to stay on top of what trending music is currently circulating within the app? Because I feel like a lot of times when I open up the app, I see content from February or January, and it's not necessarily recent.
Yeah, so I mean, what helps is being, I would say, like, follow those top influencers. That's how I like to do it. When you follow those top influencers, they're usually the start of a trend, or they find a video that they like, or a dance that they like, or whatever it might be. And as long as they use the sound, it typically blows up pretty quickly, within reason. But I find when I go in and click the sounds, at least, and go through trending ones there, yeah, I usually find typically pretty recent ones, but there's just definitely a lot of different ways to that. I think another problem that people run into is that they'll see a song, and it'll be like a certain cut of a song. So if they click that version of the song, maybe it doesn't have as recent of videos, but maybe there's another thing of that same exact song. It just has a different name, and you're going to find a million other videos under that one. So cool. That's definitely a challenge. That's not great. I think you can also, it used to, a lot of the top songs on the charts now in, say, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, etc., are relating to TikTok now. So if you go and you see a top song on one of the charts, you might be able to relate it back to a TikTok, or you might soon find out it's going to be a trending thing on TikTok too.
Awesome.
So the B to ABC is going to be your bio, which this one's pretty small, at least in some people's mind, but I think it's pretty valuable, especially if you're trying to grow your page. Just like any other platform, you need to have who you are, what kind of content you're doing, maybe have a few hashtags in there. TikTok also allows you to link out your Instagram and YouTube channels, which is a huge opportunity if you're also trying to grow those. Or you'll also see teams and or influencers or people, they'll say, in their call to action caption, they're going to say like, hey, head to our Instagram to find the rest, right? You can cross promote channels within TikTok, and being able to have those in your bio already is huge. Obviously, having a profile pic, just like anyone, is a nice way to showcase your brand, logo, whatever it might be. But whatever you can do to just show your followers who they are, or not who they are, who you are in relation to the app is super helpful. You get 80 characters for your bio on TikTok, so not a lot of room. Keep it short, simple, sweet. Keep it funny. Try to keep it to what you're going to bring, obviously, to the table.
Got a couple of questions real quick.
Okay.
Let's get to this one. Maybe you're about to get to it, but what platforms do you recommend to view the impressions analytics from content on TikTok?
Yeah, so you can actually view a lot of analytics within the app itself, which is a huge advantage of TikTok. You have to create a pro account. If you don't have a pro account yet, it is free. It's not like you have to sign up for it or anything. You just have to go under your settings tab, click manage my account, and then you're going to click switch to a pro account. And that allows you to view all the analytics of your page, whether it be views, followers, impressions, demographics, things of that nature are all on there. In terms of some extra ones, I believe there's Tick Analytics, which is a free one online, as well as Conviva. Maybe they're in this. There might be a few people in here from Conviva. They're a great partner to be able to get TikTok analytics. We're just starting, so we're kind of just using the basics for this moment, but I know a lot of people use Conviva to be able to get a little more in-depth analytics than that to their content.
Cool. Let's keep plugging away. We're running short on time a little bit.
All right, so as for commenting, just like any other platform, commenting is super important. Again, it helps with the algorithm, which is great, but as well as this is your area to be social. You're gonna find a lot of weird comments. The funny ones that we always get are people like, I'm a carrot, I'm underground, something like that. It's super weird, as well as like waffle recipes. I have no idea. People comment it. Just reply back, have fun with it. Go into other people's pages, comment. Again, that's going to help you grow, help people find who you are. As well as there's a lot of captions that might lead to ideas for new content. Fans they're pretty receptive on here. They're not afraid to speak their mind. So you might actually find a lot of content ideas from it. As an example, we got comments on like new highlight videos that people want to see on there. So we're obviously going to try and incorporate those in the future. So definitely look at the comments, comment back, and go leave other comments on other pages. Keep it social. So the basics of making a video is pretty important. I wanted to kind of obviously highlight this is TikTok 101. So why I found it important for you guys to like download the app is I only have these pictures here. So definitely open up your app now, and then go under the like content creation one, pick the little plus sign in the middle in order to pop up the page. You get a max of 60 seconds. Obviously, you don't have to use all of that. And you're going to see that at the bottom. You're going to see 60-second, 15-second, and templates. You can toggle between them, and that's how you can decide how long you want to do it. When it comes to editing videos, you can obviously do it in or out of the app. You don't necessarily have to do it in the app. A lot of our highlight videos are obviously edited outside the app and then brought in. How we mix that with the music is that obviously we save a video with the music that we like, download it, upload it, we edit the music with the video, and then we re-upload the new one and add the song from within the app in order to bring it all together. So that is definitely an option. A lot of teams that I know, they kind of do a mix of both. They'll edit in and out of the app. The only way to add text, at least the TikTok text, is within the app itself. You can only get to that when you obviously film a video, and then you're going to see a little text icon at the bottom, and that's how you can add your text. You'll see that people will have text go in and out. That means that they set a duration for that piece of text. So when you click the text, you'll get two options. You'll be able to edit it. So type in new text or a thing called set duration, and you'll get a little timeline of where you can select it to go in and out at any moment during the video. So the effects, these are really important. And again, these are something that can trend as well. So you'll notice that a lot of effects will start to get used pretty quickly. Then they become trending effects, and it might be something that you want to incorporate in your video because maybe TikTok is wanting to push those content. It's also what content people want to see, so they're going to start liking that content. Your effects, you can see on the picture here maybe is you'll see a little smiley face guy to the left of the record button. You have to add it before you start recording, and there's tons of different options. Obviously, you have the trending ones, which might be new. They might be ones that are obviously a lot of people are using. New ones, I find it gets updated like once every week to 2 weeks in that range. So always be checking that for new effects that TikTok adds in. Interactive, that's the example I have up here in the middle. For an example, you can play a truth or dare button. So obviously you can record with it and say, is this truth, is it a dare? And people can actually play along with you. You can add in polls. You can add in little prediction things. It'll act like an effect of Instagram has. In that case, kind of like an AR filter. The other popular ones are obviously like beauty effects. You can add like little sparkles. You can add makeup. You can do fun things like that. And those things like might seem weird to try and incorporate into sports, but again, like that's kind of like the fun part of this is how can you potentially add those things into your video, whether it be for the whole thing or a short amount of time. So definitely always take a look through all those and try and see how creative you can get. Why I put this little D here for put yourself in the audience's shoes. A lot of us might be confused on why some of this is popular. Why are you creating this piece of content? You might not like the content you're creating. You might think it is the stupidest thing on planet Earth, but it might do really well. Because you might not be the age group. You might not be for TikTok, but that doesn't mean that this platform isn't powerful, and that doesn't mean that the content is bad. It just means that maybe you aren't right for it, and that's okay. But just don't disregard it. Try and get as creative as you can and put yourself in your audience's shoes when creating the content and say, they might like this, and then be able to create from there, if that makes sense. So the one thing that everybody gets confused on is the music. Obviously, it is the backbone to everything TikTok is all the sounds that you can do. It doesn't have to be music. You can do pretty much anything that is a sound. You'll see sound bits. You'll see movie quotes, TV quotes. You can add in broadcast sounds to plays. You could create new broadcast sounds if you link up with your broadcasters to be able to maybe do some new broadcasting sounds. You can obviously mic up your players during the games potentially. I know there's rules around that, but as an example, MLB obviously mic'd up their players for some spring training games, so you saw a lot of content around that within the baseball world. You can also obviously just do voiceovers of content like recipes or just kind of whatever. So don't always look to the sounds that are in the app. You can obviously create your own. Now, when it comes to licensing, this is the big thing that everybody gets confused on, and it's a pretty gray area. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. It's definitely not perfect, and even the people of TikTok know that the music is not perfect. And when it comes to licensing, what music can and cannot be used, it's ever changing. One day you can use a song, and it's an officially licensed song that TikTok has, and the next day it's not.
We have a ton of questions here around music. So
all right, bring it.
Dive into that right now.
Yeah.
All right, so first one is, how do you navigate the music sound rights on TikTok? I've seen so many brands have TikToks with sounds that get taken down because of copyright claims, excuse me.
Yep. So like the big thing that we always at least try to do is use songs that you have licensing to, whether you use them from APM or some other rights holder things to get access to certain songs. Use those first and foremost, because at least you know that you have the copyright to that, right? TikTok may email you, they may automatically take the sound down, they may automatically take the video down, but obviously you can contact them, go through your team or league rep, whatever it might be, to get it put back up as long as you have the rights to it. So first and foremost, use songs that you have rights to. Second thing is use songs that TikTok has rights to, and those are going to be symbolized when you pull up. So when you're going in the video content, LOL, look at my kitchen. There's a thing up here, it's called sounds, and that's what you click in order to access all the sounds that are going in. The official ones have that little blue TikTok symbol next to them. Definitely look for those because those are the ones that you know for sure are not going to be taken down, at least in that short time frame that they have rights to. If at any point in time they lose those rights, obviously they might take down your sound. Which it sucks, like it does. It's not great, but at least you know for that like short time frame, they won't obviously take down your video. And usually for those songs, they're only going to take the sound off your video. They won't completely get rid of your video, which doesn't seem like a great option to a lot of people, but it's really not that bad in the grand scheme of things. I'm going to share one that the Warriors did. I don't know if the Warriors are in the house right now, but if they are, what's up, guys? Here we go. So obviously, this is Shade That Thing by Sean Paul. Do they have the rights to this? They may or may not. Obviously, I didn't get the chance to ask them if they did, but it is an official song within the TikTok app. So they were able to use it. It hasn't been taken down. This is a pretty old video. At any time, that video sound could get taken off. I think there's a few by the Timberwolves that have been taken off. And there's a few by, say, like the Bucks, I think, that have been taken off. And that's just because at any moment, rights can go away. So it is a pretty gray area. But try and look for those licensed songs first.
Got a couple more questions here we're going to get to. Do you create all of your content within the TikTok app, or do you use other apps to capture and create them and then upload them?
Yeah, so we do a mix. For anything that's like highlight related, we're typically editing outside of the app, and then we're, as the example, we'll save a video that's already on TikTok with that sound in order to make sure that it all matches up nicely to the beat, which we find helps within the videos. But then it allows us to obviously upload into the app and be able to utilize the music still. For anything that involves any of the effects or text, we usually keep editing within the app just because we feel that it works out a lot better and it tends to actually be a lot easier than trying to do it any other way. You'll also see a lot of people do like green screen work, and they'll try to use green screen effects. A lot of those are edited outside the app, and then they'll bring them into the app. Even though there's a green screen feature within the app, it doesn't work perfectly. And when you want certain looks to your content and you have a better method, definitely edit outside the app. But definitely there's certain things that can only be in the app. And if you want to take advantage of those, you have to just do the app and use it. I will say, even if you're editing outside of the app, try and use your phone. Some of that produced content just doesn't perform as well. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. That's the app in of itself. That's what performs best on the content. You kind of have to tailor to that. It also is kind of helpful. You're not using another additional resource. You don't have to necessarily use your video team to edit up something. So it can be advantageous in that way. You might not like the look of it, But ultimately, the quality that TikTok has when you're scrolling anyway doesn't lend itself very well to super high quality 4K videos. So try and take it back a little bit, think about what the platform is, and just take it for what it is and use it to the best of your ability.
Awesome. I've got a couple of variations of this question. Are you creating this content, and does your video team, as well as does your team capture video directly through the app, or use filming tech to capture? Do you see one to be more efficient than the other?
Yeah, so we do like a mix of both, actually. It just kind of depends, again, on that piece of content, who's where, and the time that we have. If we can really pre-plan the content that we want, and we think that our video team has those capabilities, obviously we'll get them on board for it. It's nice that obviously myself and my boss Ryan have some editing capabilities, so we don't necessarily have to do that. And we can just kind of do it all ourselves, but we don't necessarily want to step on their toes either. At the end of the day, they're part of your team, they're part of your brand, and these are videos, so you want your video team. When it comes to anything in-app, though, that's all on us because, again, those are our phones, that's our content. So we just try to keep it to us, but any of those outside ones that we know that we can get help on, we definitely try to do that.
Awesome. One more question before we continue to plow through. We're at an hour and 2 minutes now, so we'll try to get this wrapped up as soon as possible, Erin.
Yep.
Should you repost your brand's TikToks on Instagram stories?
Ooh, see, this one there's no blanket answer to this one. This is really going to be up to you. Obviously, it's a huge opportunity to cross-promote your content, especially with the ease that TikTok allows. But it doesn't necessarily make it good, wrong, bad, whatever. It just kind of depends on what you want to sit, like say on your Instagram stories or on your Twitter. For us, we haven't done any cross-promoting yet, and that's just because we want to try and get as much kind of like that nice organic growth within the platform first before we go and say, hey, Twitter, we have a TikTok, come and follow us. We're still learning the platform. We're still doing a lot of testing. So before we go and do that cross-promoting, we're going to get all of our ducks in a row, make sure it's great. And we also want that perfect piece of content that does work well on Twitter. So you have to think about the content from the perspective of the other platform. Not everything that's on TikTok is going to be made for Twitter. It's just like things that are made on Twitter don't necessarily work on TikTok. So definitely look at what the content is before just saying, cool, I'm going to go share this on another platform. But I will say that it is easy to do it, and that's why TikTok is so great, is because it does share so nicely across so many different platforms. Okay, so another thing that a lot of teams obviously want to do is they want to say, how do we make money on this platform? This might go back to that question that we had of how do we get upper management to buy into the platform? And if you can say, hey, we're making money on this platform, that's lovely, right? I guess a caveat to that is just like any other platform, you're going to want to say, you need to kind of build up your platform and have a base before you go and try and bring in sponsored content into it. A lot of us might struggle, we do it on other platforms as it is, with making it feel very authentic to the platform. So I typically say, try and build up your platform, build up an audience that is worthwhile before you go and say, here, we're going to throw out a sponsored piece of content to you guys. As an example, the Bulls, I think, were the first sports team to integrate monetization, and they waited a very long time to do that. They had a huge following before they went and said to a brand, hey, we have this huge following on TikTok, we have Betting the Bowl. How can we partner with you? How can we bring this partnership to life on a new platform? Obviously, there's different types of sponsored content that you can potentially take advantage of. There's challenges. These are your typical like favorite content. And this is, I guess, like as a recent example was the distance dance that I believe it was the World Health Organization, I believe, partnered with influencer Charlie D'Amelio in order to do a dance around staying at home. Those cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's not the cheapest thing in the world, but it gets seen by a lot of eyes. Obviously, not only are you using an influencer, but you're being seen on the main page. It's the first advertisement you might see when you open the app, as well as it's going to sit on that Discover feed up in that big box as a big challenge. So yes, is it expensive? Absolutely. Is it worth your money? May or may not. Obviously, that depends on your brand. You can also just do promoted hashtags. Similar to that distance dance, obviously they did both. They created a challenge and a hashtag. Everything costs money. You can just run ads on the platform. Again, to this point, don't just shove an ad that you created for Twitter over on to TikTok. Make it feel that it's very authentic to that platform. Use video that you might post just organically that you could use potentially as an ad. Obviously, they have an entire ads section. It's not just you posting something and you can boost it. That's not how it works. You have to go through their ad platform, sign up for it, etc. And then obviously, last but not least, you have your influencers. And I think this is the biggest opportunity for sports teams to take advantage of. Some influencers cost money, others don't. You might be able to just DM, reach out and say, hey, we want to partner up with you on this dance, or do you want to create a piece of content with us? And just like reaching out to them and seeing if they want to do it. You might be surprised at what you're able to do. These are young kids that are just having a lot of fun, and it's not saying that you're taking advantage of them by any means. Obviously, they have every right to go to you and say, yeah, sure, I'll do it for $10,000. You might get that answer, you might not. But at the end of the day, you can partner with these influencers who have millions of followers. This is the last slide that I want to screen share with you guys. This was done with the NBA. This one is Addison Rae and Charlie and her sister. This one, obviously, you can see it here, has 5 million likes and it got 22,000 comments. It's pretty simple. Just them dancing. So for a lot of people,
potentially worth $10,000.
And you know, it doesn't necessarily seem that way, but when you look at this, like you got 5 million likes, and I believe this one was at 30 million views, I believe. And then I believe obviously the NBA did all of this. They had different stations set up at the All-Star game. Like they went all in on TikTok. They had all these influencers. They put out the content. They did it with their athletes. So this was just one video that got 5 million views or 5 million likes, 30 something million views. They had hundreds of videos going out this weekend. That's a lot of content that they might have got for a very small price. And I don't even know if they paid for these influencers. They might have just paid for them to come, like, and paid for their housing and whatnot and just been able to do it. They might have done it for free. I'm not really sure on that front. But what I can say is that's a lot of views, and it doesn't seem like a lot of money or like, ooh, $10,000. But that's cheap in the scheme of things. If you look at how much money you might spend on other platforms in order to get that amount of viewing and impressions and things like that.
We're in the wrong business.
Right? So definitely try and see if you can take advantage of influencers, and that doesn't just sit on TikTok. A lot of these people also have huge followings on Twitter. I think influencers in general is a huge open space for the sports industry to kind of dive into, whether it be their own athletes as influencers, but just reaching out to other ones as well. So I kind of wanted to end on what I wish I knew I was starting. Obviously, we just started our Raise one, but just in general, being on the platform for the first time is being okay with failure. Kind of like somebody alluded to on our things is that some of our videos did really well and they crushed it and others don't. That doesn't mean it necessarily failed, but it didn't do as well as you might anticipate. And that's going to happen a lot because of how the platform is set up and the algorithm. You might expect a piece of content to do so well, like, oh, we spent so much time on this, so much editing, and it flops. That's okay. It's okay. Like the platform is meant for testing, and the platform is meant for you to try and just create tons of new content that you can't necessarily do on other ones. Secondly, don't make assumptions about your audience. Again, with all these videos, you might be looking at it saying, who are these people? Why am I doing this? Why do kids like this? This is so ridiculous. Don't make assumptions about it. Try and buy into it a little bit, and try and buy into it from the standpoint of your brand. How can you make it work for your brand that scales it up a notch, that says, oh, this is actually really great content? Because you can. But don't necessarily assume that your audience isn't necessarily like worthwhile, or this platform isn't worthwhile just because of certain pieces of content you might come across. Thirdly, test. I can't say it enough. Just throw out pieces of content, brainstorm tons of ideas. There's also a draft feature, which is nice, kind of like Twitter, you have mobile drafts, right? We have probably a lovely backload of like 30 some odd TikToks that we want to do. We may put it out. We have them at the ready, but it might be just about what we're going to test out and do. Not only can you test and just keep it in your draft, so you may never post it just to see what different effects do, but when you do come to posting, just test. There's really, again, it kind of goes back to that no failure thing. Be willing to just try new content. It's really just a great platform to do that. And lastly, let the platform help you make your content. Watch. Get sucked into it, enjoy it, and have that creativity come out of you by just letting the platform do the work. And all you have to do is kind of take that spin on it for your brand. I find this platform to be just so valuable and entertaining at giving me ideas that I hope that you guys see that too. So watch it and work with the platform. Don't fight it.
Erin, this was awesome. We've got a couple more questions if you have a little bit more time.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's go to, this is a pretty loaded one here. With the integrated interest target system, is your approach to create most of your content that falls into one particular subject to create strong fans, or are you trying to approach your strategy as an all-encompassing? It's a great question.
Yeah, this is a really great question. For us right now, we're still in that, I hate saying like the throw stuff, test stuff kind of phase and seeing what works, seeing what sticks, but that's kind of where we are right now. Again, we've only put out 10 videos, so we're definitely in that. We're trying to find what our niche is going to be. What's the content that is going to work best and that we really want to centralize into, especially during this hiatus time. It's really a great opportunity for us. I think in the long run, you want to find that niche and be able to just put out content in that way. And that's what's ultimately going to make you valuable to your fans. Like any content, you're going to be very particular in something and be great at it. So that's like our ultimate goal. But I think that there's also value in being able to hit different areas, especially in sports. There's tons of different things that you can do, tons of different options you have, whether it be photography, video, your highlights, things about your athletes, whatever it might be. There's so many niches that you can hit. Don't be afraid to do that either. You don't have to be stuck doing one thing. And it doesn't make your account bad if certain pieces don't perform as well as others. Because you're still hitting a niche market that loves that content, that's a fan of yours.
Next question. Can TikToks be monetized, which we've discussed, yes, or should the focus only be on drawing in new audiences?
Yeah, so obviously like they can be monetized. I personally am going to say my opinion is wait on monetizing. I think that it devalues your content if you're constantly shoving in a sponsor into it. Also, I find that fans see it pretty clearly when all of a sudden there's a brand integrated into it. As an example, one, like obviously Benny the Bull is really great with the Chicago Bulls, and they integrated a partner. It was like a bank or something, and they had like an ATM in the background, and they tried to integrate money, and it just did not work on the platform, and it didn't perform as well. So the fans also see it pretty fast if it just isn't integrated nicely and doesn't perform as well. So it's a sticky subject, but for TikTok, I like to say that this is the platform. It doesn't require monetization. It's not like you can get ticket sales out of it. You're usually in that younger generation that they have spending money, but it's not going to be your season ticket holders or anything like that. Don't have hard sells on here. Use it to obviously integrate partners in an authentic way, in a fun way. But I don't think it should be the main goal by any means.
You teed up the next question brilliantly. Have sports teams found better success with mascot pages rather than brand pages?
In my opinion, yes. And I'm going to say that because obviously the mascots fall in that fun content a lot easier, as well as they can usually potentially get away with a little bit more ridiculous brand voice than they do with other types of content with their mascots, a lot easier than with their brand. However, in my opinion, again, sports is that place that you just have so many content options that I don't think you need to limit yourself with your mascot. Obviously, you have your players. A lot of teams have cheers, like cheer squads, things like that. You still have like front office kind of content that you can throw in there, surprisingly. So I think if you limit yourself to a mascot, you're actually missing out on a lot of content you can create, and you're just limiting yourself. So we're going with the standpoint of integrate our mascot where needed, but not creating the account just around that mascot.
What advice do you have for someone who's running a TikTok for a network where they cover the teams, but they don't necessarily have the access to create content with players?
Yeah, so with this one, I think for like a network, your huge opportunity is obviously those moments and those highlights. Plenty of accounts get away with just highlights, and I think that would be where you would likely fall in. You might also be able to get away with a lot of photography content too. And then kind of repurposing as you can any content that you might throw on other platforms and remixing it, re-editing it to fit on TikTok. It might take more time, it might take more resources to do that, but it's definitely possible. You definitely don't need that one-on-one athlete by any means to be successful. It's just about getting creative.
How do you see teams and organizations adjusting their voice and strategy as TikTok keeps evolving and growing?
Yeah, I think from like the starting standpoint, obviously you're going to go with your basic. You're going to see teams like be a little bit more unbuttoned. I'm also going to say you're going to see teams kind of stretch it out a little bit. They might throw out content that is completely ridiculous that might cross those lines they may never cross or never typically cross, and they might try and cross them to just see how it does on this platform. There's such a wide array of content, but I definitely see brands adjusting. And I'm not saying their entire brand voice, I'm saying their TikTok brand voice to fit the mold of what content does well. Whether that be fun, you might see teams and organizations get away with using like cuss words in songs, explicit songs that we never imagined that we would see, but I think it's definitely going to happen because again, you have to work with the platform.
Erin, thank you so much for this. This was phenomenal. Nikki's going to pop in the chat the networking sheet if for those that haven't been able to access it yet. Tomorrow's session is Esports 101. Sign up, tune in. Any last words, advice, Erin?
My last words of advice is spend all the time that you can on this platform during this hiatus. Not gonna lie, it seems like you're gonna get stuck on it, but just spend the time on your platform, get creative, and try and launch if you have the capability, launch your TikToks now because it's just an open door of possibilities over here. So come join the dark side over here.
Thank you all. See you tomorrow, Esports 101.
Thanks, guys.